things I can talk about. The one thing that's trending on X, formerly known as Twitter, is Superman. Um, James Gunn Superman. And that movie is going to premiere this summer. There's a lot of people out there that feel like this is going to be one of those ones when it comes to summer blockbuster movies. First and foremost, DC needs a blockbuster. They need a blockbuster desperately seeking. They need a blockbuster big time. All right. With Zack Snyder and the DCU universe, there were some hits and misses, more misses than hits. It generated, tons of hype. It generated a fan base. It generated money, but it never dethroned or overtaken the Marvel universe. Okay, when Marvel had it rolling, and they had their solo projects like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, then Black Panther, Spider-Man, and then Doctor Strange, Black Widow, and then you had the Avenger projects. They were rolling and chugging it along. The Marvel universe got their stuff together, whereas with DC, it was almost like they was trying to chase what Marvel has already done. They had Batman v Superman, they had Man of Steel, they had the Wonder Woman, they had the Aquamans, and then they just moved from all that to trying to do sort of a Justice League. And they did do a Justice League, and I think that's where, and to me, it bombed. Justice League bombed. Okay. So when you're looking at DC, and plus business wise, DC is linked with HBO. HBO merged with Cinemax. That kind of derailed a lot of things that they wanted to do with DC. So now they're revamping the DC universe. James Gunn is in control of the DC universe, and if you go by the trailers of this new Superman, this is going to be a new era with James Gunn and Superman. I think they found the right Superman, Lex Luger. They're also bringing in other characters from the DC universe. I feel like this is going to be very, very good for the DC universe. And I feel like this movie is a start of a lot of things that they're going to unleash under the James Gunn umbrella. They got Creatures Commanders, that animated series on Max. I've heard a lot of great things about it. Haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I feel like the DC universe, this might be the year where the DC universe it's got a one up on Marvel. If you look at what Marvel has rolled out this year with Captain America: Brave New World, Anthony Mackie played Captain America. We're going to talk about him momentarily as well. It was a solid movie, but it didn't do the numbers everyone thought it was going to do. All right. So when Superman comes out this summer, it's gonna look at the numbers what Captain America: Brave New World has done thus far, and I feel like there's no competition between Captain America: Brave New World and this new Superman. I think Superman is going to dethrone that. On the other side of things, the Fantastic Four is coming out this summer. So now this James Gunn Superman, has some competition this summer with the Fantastic Four. And I feel like the Fantastic Four it's going to start the storylines of Doom, and it's going to start the storylines of the Secret War and the next wave of Marvel projects. I think the Fantastic Four is the centerpiece. it starts this new direction with the Marvel universe. But I don't think the Fantastic Four is going to compete with Superman either. Okay, you got to realize Superman is a very big IP. Um, I feel like diehard comic book fans know who the Fantastic Four are, but I don't think casual fans know who the Fantastic Four really are. You know, and I know Marvel Rivals, they you can play the Fantastic Four. I think casual fans know the Fantastic Four from a video game uh, perspective. They may know the characters of the Fantastic Four, but I don't think and I don't believe casual fans know the origin of the Fantastic Four, or you know, or who the Fantastic Four are, other than the characters. I don't think the Fantastic Four IP is going to be bigger than the Superman IP, and it's not that I'm hating on Marvel or hating on the Fantastic Four. And I'm a huge fan of Superman. There are just some characters in Marvel and DC that if they come out, people are going to come in droves to check them out. And you got Batman, you got Superman, and then on Marvel you got Spider-Man, and pick your poison. It can be Captain America, it can be Iron Man. You know, there are so many popular characters in Marvel that are more popular than the Fantastic Four. It just is. But hey, it is what it is. I think this new Superman is going to break. It's going to break records. It's going to make noise. And it's going to make some money. And but besides all that, I feel like this new DC world, this new DC era with James Gunn, and he's releasing Superman. I think it's going to usher the DC universe, and I feel like Marvel, they better have something. I know they got Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. I think that's great, but they're going to need more than the Fantastic Four, Robert Downey Jr., Captain America with Brave New World. I feel like next year that's when Marvel is going to shoot out their big guns. But as of right now, I feel like DC this year, this is DC's year. This is DC's year. Now, as far as Captain America Brave New World, I like Captain America Brave New World. I didn't hate it. I understand when I could see the disappointment when I went to the movie theaters, and I can see the disappointment in a lot of people's faces. Anthony Mackie is a great, accomplished actor. It's not the fact that people didn't want to see Anthony Mackie. It's the fact that they wanted to see Captain America. They wanted to see the OG Captain America, Steve Rogers. Okay. And if you've been reading the comic books, this storyline does exist in the comic book world, where Steve Rogers gave up the Captain America mantle. All right. And, he did do this in the comic book world. So this storyline does exist. But I can see the disappointment. I don't think it was frustration, but I felt like people wanted to see Steve Rogers as Captain America, Brave New World. And I'm trying to think of the actor's name who played Steve Rogers, Captain America. His name escaped me. But he did an interview saying that he really didn't want to do Captain America no more. He didn't want to be typecast as the guy who did Captain America. He wanted to do other things. Don't blame him. I don't hate him. Okay. But I can see the frustration, not frustration, but I can see people wanting to see the real Captain America. Even though that is the real Captain America, they wanted to see the Captain America from the other universe. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I feel like it was a solid production. Harrison Ford was in this movie. They had some great actors and actresses in this movie. The script was solid. I liked the movie, but and I think the movie was good. I just felt like people were too heavy on and too lenient on. We want the Captain America that we saw like 3 or 4 years ago. They want that Captain America. If that Captain America was in this movie, even though I feel like this movie will still do the same numbers and, in the box office, but people would still say, even though this movie wasn't a huge hit, still we like the movie. We respect the movie. Okay. And I don't think it's a racist thing. I just think when you're custom, it's like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is our Superman. And now we have to get used to a different actor playing Superman. And I do feel like in the beginning, people are going to come watch this Superman movie and they're going to have in the back of their minds, man, I wish Henry Cavill played Superman. Dang, I wish Henry Cavill would play this Superman. This movie would have been good if they would have had Henry Cavill. And they're going to overlook the script. They're going to overlook the production of the movie. They're going to overlook James Gunn's vision of Superman. They're going to overlook all this stuff because they're still hung on the fact that, man, I wish Henry Cavill could play Superman. Okay. Now, I do feel like that's going to be in the first couple of weeks. But when the critics watch it and more people watch it, they're going to say, even though Henry Cavill was not in this movie, this was still a solid movie. This was still a great movie. And I feel like that's a slap in the face to Anthony Mackie. Because despite how you feel, despite that you wanted to see your Captain America, and you didn't get your Captain America, you got a different version of a Captain America. The movie was still good. The script was still good. But I felt like people were way too heavy on, man, the movie is solid, but dog, fam, I wish we would have had the Steve Rogers Captain America. Okay, and I keep overthinking, trying to think of the actor who played Captain America. I can't think of his name right now. I do apologize, but yeah, that's what I interpreted when I went to the movies and saw it. But I love the movie. I think the movie was good. Is it better than previous Marvel movies? No. I do feel like it's going to be better than the Thunderbolts. I forgot about that movie. That movie is going to be shown even before the Fantastic Four. So I don't think Thunderbolts are going to do those numbers. And that's the original cast from the previous Marvel universe. I don't think the Thunderbolts are going to shatter the record. But you know what people are going to have a built-in excuse for? Well, those are the B-C list characters, Chris. What did you expect? These are the characters that even though we know who these characters are, and we know who the actors and the actresses that are portraying these characters in Thunderbolt, we never thought in our wildest dreams that it was going to be this blockbuster movie. Come on, Chris. They're in the Marvel universe. They're like BC characters, whatever. Okay, so that's going to be the excuse for the Thunderbolts. Okay, and I think that's going to be a good movie too. All right, so. Yeah, let's get into Anthony Mackie. So Anthony Mackie was on the Pivot podcast. He has some interesting things to say on the Pivot podcast. The first thing I want to talk about